about comics. Let's talk about comics. Let's talk about comics. Let's talk about comics. Alright, big YouTube. Today I want to talk about Absolute Green Lantern number 2. Issue number 1 really had me. It brought me in, and I was excited to see where it went. I am not a Green Lantern fan. I've read a couple of books, and I really can't say that I dug them particularly. But this right here is, at least to me, a new, different spin on the Green Lantern lore. The first issue felt really almost like a dystopian horror. And what they do here is they do this clever thing with time jumps, where you start when they're trying to kind of recover from and make sense of something that happened that you haven't seen yet. And then it'll cut back to the action that led up to this moment temporarily, and then it'll jump again back to the present, and you get to see the effects of what happened before you actually see it happen. And we meet at the end of it, the cliffhanger was this alien character who had come down, taking over this small town, who I was not familiar with, but have since learned he is a part of the Green Lantern lore. His name is Abin Sur. And here he is greeted with trepidation and fear by the local law enforcement. But they talk about what happened to the sheriff in the first few panels, but here you get to actually see what happened in him trying to calm the situation and trying to tell his deputies to calm down. He realizes that a gun is not going to do the trick. And so he tries to find a way to reason with this Abin Sur. And let's see, his name is Guy Gardner. He's a sheriff in Evergreen, the small community I was talking about. And, he says, "You understand what laws are, right?" And Abin replies, I have understanding, judgment shall commence." And he does something here where it seems like some kind of way of assessing the sheriff's aura, his insights, and he says, judgment is in progress. Guy Gardner, you are not an entity. You currently exist in the spectrum of light. Be without fear. Be entirely without fear. And things kind of go off. And this is where I'm not going to get into much more detail, because then we're getting into spoilers, but things go very, very bad for Guy Gardner and the city of Evergreen. And they're forced to, deal with this force that has kind of held the town hostage. And they're made helpless. And at the same time, we have Hal Jordan and who's the other guy? There are 3 different Green Lanterns here. Hal Jordan, John Stewart, and a female Green Lantern. And they are experiencing things physically that are beyond their control. This whole Green Lantern power, they're not familiar with it. They don't know how to control it, or if it can be controlled. And its connection to Abin Sur, and it's very still mysterious and dystopian and bleak. And while I understand it's a superhero story, it reads like an apocalyptic horror, which I really dig. And I thought that this was also clever as we get to the end, because like I said, it just kind of drops you in and time jumps from there back and forth, and we get to some of the last pages. And then we have the introduction of the actual book on the second to last page. And so I feel like that was clever. It throws you right into the story without the distraction of a preamble and all of this supposition. I think it's a very clever way of telling the story, keeping the reader interested, yet not feeling boring or pretentious. So I really dig it. I suggest you check it out. These Absolute series have been fun. I've enjoyed the Absolute Superman. Um, Again, that's another series I'm not a big fan of, but Absolute Superman is a whole different Superman from a whole different Krypton. Um, and we have the same familiar characters, Lois Lane, and all of these characters, but they're in different roles, so to speak. So I suggest you check out local comic book store, and if you're in Wyoming, check out Spellbound Apothecary and Entertainment. On orders of over $35, they deliver for free in Wyoming. And so it is a win-win. You get to support a local business and save a little money on your comic books. And if you're in Casper, you can walk in at the Eastridge Mall. They're located right across from the Hot Topic. So I'll see you guys next time. Until then, keep reading them books. You know I will. I'm out.